I've been just so busy for the last month or so, and I'm so proud of myself that this is my first fall since I've been living alone on my little 3-acre homestead, and it's my first fall that I have gotten ahead of the snow. For those of you that are familiar with Northern Ontario, and I mean, really, I guess actually I'm really central Ontario. Ontario is such a big province. But I'm in the Grey County area, Collingwood, Grey County area. And it's my first winter that I feel like I'm going to be ahead of the game. Because when last winter hit, it was terrifying in that, like, the amount of snow that we got, and we got on a daily basis, we were getting a foot of snow a day, and I couldn't keep up with it. And some simple things like not shutting off my hoses. I didn't shut off the faucets to the outside in time, so things got frozen. I blew up all of my hoses and all of my, the hand nozzle things, and just, not prepping for that much snow on a roof, and like, how do I remove it, and trying to find people to remove it for me, and they were all busy with already the contracts that they had set up, and the plowing of my driveway, and educating the driver to not destroy the new drain that I put in. And of course that got wrecked because I didn't realize that once the snow's on the ground, once the snow's on the ground, I wouldn't be able to see things. And so, you got to put out the markers, you've got to take pictures ahead of time, you've got to make sure that your plow drivers and everybody that's helping you maintain your property, because especially I'm here by myself, like I don't have anybody, I don't have a man that's be doing this stuff for me or anything, that lives under my roof with me. So it's been a wild education for me, and I just got yesterday a load of one bush cord, which is equivalent to 3.5 faces of wood. So anyways, it's a lot of wood. It's a lot of firewood. So I am now in the process of trying to find wood sheds, like wood storage things. Like just, putting them all together, building them outside, driving to Canadian Tire, driving to Home Depot, which I'm driving right now to Home Depot. I'm driving down the side of Blue Mountain, actually, the Blue Mountain. It's really, really quite beautiful. And anyways, I'm just busy, like, scurrying like a little mouse to make sure my place is looked after and doesn't get destroyed. Because what happened to me last year? Well, I guess it was really technically this year, because it was February, March, April. We got so much snow in January, February, March, and so much so that when it landed on the roof and I wasn't able to clear it off, then the warmth from my house, because I don't have an attic, I have vaulted ceilings, so there's no attic space. So the heat from my house essentially really goes through the roof. As quirky as it is, but it's an old log house. And what it does though is it heats up the snow. And then as it gets colder and colder, then it just turns into solid freaking ice. And it ripped off all of my snow guards. It ripped off my eaves troughs. When it came crashing down, it landed on a part of my kitchen that sticks out. And when the snow from the second roof came down and it landed on my little kitchen roof, it put cracks in my walls. Like, it was destructive. It was such a wild winter. Anyways, I don't want to go through that again. Not that I can, play God here or anything and stop the snow from falling. But everybody I've talked to, people that have lived up here for 30, 40 years, have all said the same thing, that This was the worst snowfall that they had ever really experienced, and they'd been up here for 30, 40, 50 years. So I didn't feel so bad that at least I weathered the storm and made it to the other side, and all I am praying for is like, please don't let it be the same this year. Anyways, yeah, I'm going through every single day a transformation and full awareness of my expansion and growing and learning through this life. And I love living alone. I actually don't feel like I miss anything. And I feel like there's still this part of me that is needing these necessary lessons, whatever it is in life, resilience and this independence, but this pride that's coming up within me to say, wow, oh my God, I did it again, and just surviving through all of this is totally confidence building. And on top of it all, having a business in Burlington and in Oakville that is, Oakville's amazing. We're, rocking it there. And then in March of this year, when the destruction of the snow happened, was the same time that the destruction of Burlington happened. That was the energy flowing on the earth. And that destruction that happened to 401 Brant Street in Burlington, which was, for those of you that don't know, my daughter and I, my partner and daughter and I, got notice from our landlord, which is a developer, that they were going to finally pull the plug and build out where we were. And we knew it was going to happen sooner or later in a way, but we thought it was going to be condos being built, and never in a million years did we think it was going to turn into be a government-funded situation. So essentially the government funded and bailed out the landlord that wasn't able to afford this condo because he paid too much for the property. On May the 3rd, sorry, excuse me, I have to get my dates right. So on March the 3rd, I hope I've said this right, March the 3rd, we were given 60 days notice to vacate 401 Brant Street. And at the same time, my home up north where I live, 2 hours or so, an hour and 45 minutes north of the city, was also getting rocked by destructive snow. And in that 60 days of March the 3rd to our final day that we were open for business, which was May the 4th, that 60 days was so traumatic, so largely, bigly, massively traumatic. And I had essentially not having the wherewithal to drive every single day because the snow coming down so much. And I'm being serious when I say we were getting a foot of snow a day. And to navigate the staff and the transition and the looking for a new property and all the things that took place in that whole huge destruction of 401 Brant. We were transferring our business, transferring our attention fully into Oakville, which was never intended to be that way. Oakville was always intended to be our second location. We never expected it to be ever our primary location, but thank God we had opened it literally about 3 months before we got the notice from the landlord for Burlington. And all the while, my personal home was getting rocked as well. And I've just been sitting with this incredible insight now, because they say, hindsight is foresight, foresight's hindsight, whatever. You know, you get a totally different perspective once you move through it and you get to reflect back. And reflecting back now, because now it's November 1st, okay, it's November 1st, 2025, and I'm now preparing for the next winter. I'm also now too, and with Erin, my daughter, we're totally like knee deep in the full out construction now for this new location in Burlington that's replacing the one that we lost in March. So yeah, it's all of these lessons that I've learned and moved through in a way that I never thought that I would have to be. I'm sorry, I'm just backing up right now. I just want to get settled here. I never thought that I would I never thought that I was going to lose Burlington. And that was such an egoic thought, you know? And I always envisioned that it was surrounded by angels and, you know, having it for 13 years. And it was, you know, it's ranked number 3 in the world of cupcake shops to visit before you die. We were, and I guess we still be once we move back, but we're the tourism ambassador. Like, we won that award for bringing in the most people into the city of Burlington. Like, the most tourists, more so than even the Royal Botanical Gardens. Like, it was wild, all the accolades that we achieved. And to this go, oh, an email that you receive on March the 3rd at 2:22 in the afternoon. That's what the timestamp is of this email from our landlord, Reserve Properties. That you get that email, and at 2:21 in the afternoon that day, life was fine. And at 2:22, that email went, you're like done, exploded. I really want to expand on this because I think that there's so much to learn from letting go and surrendering and allowing these transitions and allowing these deaths, these terminations to happen. Because on the other side, there is just something so wild and amazing. And it's like, as soon as we allow money and the comfort that money gives us, the comfort, right? The false illusion of what money gives us. If we allow that to take hold of our life is built on something that is so fragile. Instead of understanding that we are the truth of our life, our sovereign hearts, our nature, our community, our love for one another, our connections to one another. You know, it's shifted me so much from what the illusion of Kelly's Bake Shop at 401 Brant Street was, and then moving forward to what the new paradigm, the new realm of what 461 Brant Street, Burlington will be, and what we're creating, which to me, more than anything else, is giving back, being of service, community, and just loving one another. Yeah, these are the thoughts flowing through me today. Love you guys.